First of all, welcome to our today's webinar about 3D sketching and conceptual design mode within the Universal Plant Viewer. My name is Stefan Bauer. I'm product manager at CA Experts, and today I give you an overview about 3D sketching mode in UPV for the next 20 to 30 minutes. So please feel free to ask your questions via the chat window, and I will try to answer them at the end of my presentation. Or at least, if this is not possible, I will try to answer these questions within the next days. Okay, 3D sketching, conceptual design mode. What is this all about? So the 3D sketching mode definitely expands the possibilities of a viewer in a very good way from our point of view. So here, all the stakeholders of a project can bring their concepts, their variants, their ideas directly into the model in an extremely simple way. And without extensive training or additional software, the viewer that you're using anyway on a daily basis brings everything along. And so UPV 3D sketching closes a gap between a simple viewer and a complex authoring system. And these authoring systems are usually in a project or in a company are only used by a small group of experts. But with this viewer, so this is a kind of bridging the gap between viewer and authoring system. And additionally, the reuse of the existing model graphic and the additional modeling functionalities helps to streamline the change management process in a project or in a company, and really helps with the communication in a project. So first of all, so the 3D, what are the different topics of today or here in the 3D sketching mode? Definitely this is piping. In our industry, still one of the main disciplines. Here with piping, we follow a very simple modeling approach. And from our point of view, no training is necessary. Very intuitive, and with in between a short period of time, you should be able to be up and running and be able to sketch your items as you want in the UPV. There is something new I can show you. It's really it's something now we finally made it, that we can place really reduced branches in a correct way now, and this is something this is part of my presentation in here among all the other functionalities I will show you. Okay, 3D sketching. What can we do else here? What do we have? What possibilities do we have? First of all, we provide a catalog along with the software. We have here round about 50 types of different types of elements included in here. You easily can extend these functionalities with our simple 3D designer, or you even can load your existing parametric symbols that you have done with the 3D Symbol Designer also into the UPV catalog in here. This is also what I can show you today as a new topic or as a new functionality. You know, there are some steel sections can be placed in UniversalPlantViewer. So we have implemented functionality for I or W profiles, columns and beams. And what we have done now is we extended this functionality that the list or that the sections, the available sections are now in the new version, in the new upcoming version are now user definable. That means you can create, you can load your own list of elements, your standard, your catalog, your section catalog into the UPV, and this definitely extends the capabilities for the placement of steel section items in a good way. And last but not least, okay, when I can integrate here in the viewer, you have seen this functionality maybe before. We can integrate as well OBJ elements into here, and finally we can export this graphic that you have produced in the 3D sketching mode into a DGN file or other functionalities. So this finally, from our point of view, closes really a gap between, or bridges a gap between a viewer and a 3D system. But because with the export to DGN, we can, you can bring your ideas that you have sketched in your viewer back to your authoring system, and the DGN format fits into any system that is available on the market here. Okay, so let's switch into the 3D environment in the UPV viewer, and what I will do is I go to a place where we have a little bit space where you can see how this is working in general. Okay, so I start with a sketching functionality, or I place a sketch. I create a new sketch. So this sketch is kind of container that takes all the sketching items I'm placing now. Okay, as a first thing, what I would like to do, I copy over existing element or existing equipment, and so this equipment originally comes from Smart 3D, but it really doesn't matter. It would work with any item in the UPV. So this again is a big advantage of UPV, because everything, regardless from what format this graphic was created from, everything we have here, everything from any kind of system without any big conversion. So when I start with my piping, so I click on a pipeline, I start here and I move up here. You see this green circle, and so the length of my pipeline I can reference to the top of my slab here, and the top of my pipe that I'm drawing here now is on the same height like this slab I have reference to. Now I go in this direction. I take this and place my pipe in here. And what I can do here, I can change my pipe size from 8 to 6 inch, for example, and the complete pipeline changes. So I put here some flanges, and you see when the flange comes to an end of a pipeline, it automatically switches to an end item. I can do the same over there. So I have my pipeline ready so far, my first leg. Okay, so what I would like to place here is kind of bypass. So here again, I can reference to a certain height, can move it and move back to an existing pipeline. And now you see automatically a branch element is inserted, and this is a new functionality now, that this now works, that you can change the pipe size of a run, um, um, and it changes only the pipe size of a run. So this is new and should be available for you. Maybe you have seen this, that this is working already in your models. Okay, here I can place a valve. I can move my valve. Here I can place a ball valve, for example. I can place a first reducer. I can place a second reducer. And when I change this to 4-inch, this reducer to 4-inch, you see the complete pipe run in between changes, but still my elements are, I can move my elements, can adjust my elements, and this is working. Okay, so from this point of view, this is not a big deal. Very easy to understand, very easy to use, and should be possible without any problem. Here, for example, I can change an elbow to a T, and here I can move up. I can reference to here. You see, I'm quite far away, but still I meet my my nozzle over here. I can change to 3-inch, and my pipeline is there. Here, my single legs or my single pipe runs can be changed. You see how this is working. It's working in an intelligent way, and quite obvious or quite easy. You instantly see how this is working. When we look at this element, for example, and I delete this node here, you see the pipeline is like a rubber band. Okay, so I have deleted one node in between, and so this element, goes straight now. So maybe this answers the question: how can I go directly from one point to another point, for example? Because by default we do it orthogonal. You have seen the intelligent moving points. They go by default orthogonal, but with such a functionality, you can place your straight pipes in that way. Another functionality which is very useful, let me place a branch here. Okay, so this branch, when I click on this element and I use the rotate function, you see there are two arrows. Okay, so these arrows, this is for a horizontal movement, and this is for a vertical movement, for example. So it goes in two directions, and can be adapted very easily in that way. And when I click back on this pipe and move this here up a little bit, so the first thing, it goes straight. But when I click to this elbow and go into the menu here, I can change it, for example, to 60 degree, and this is now this elbow changes, and this maybe also answers the question, what about sloped lines, for example? So this is a functionality. If you have a free end of your pipeline, you can always adjust the first elbow, and the direction will change by an angle that you can type in. And afterwards, you see this is very flexible. This elbow moves along the pipe run, and it's very flexible. Here we don't work with pipe specs, so there are no pipe specs with restrictions in the background. It's really graphic, so that you can place your pipes in that way like you want. Okay, so these are some, let's say, basic functionality in here. What we also have integrated, and that will come with the new version, that's the possibility that you can insert elements into existing pipes. So for example, I can place a valve in here. So you see automatically this is recognized. So it's not recognized on a steel item, for example. So when I click in here, automatically an existing, it's really the existing pipe, originally done in Smart 3D. It's automatically converted, inserted as a pipe, inserts the element, and now this is something that can be moved or can be used for some other purposes if you want. Okay, so that's the insertion, or the insert of an element into an existing pipe. So finally, let's assume we have done our complete pipe modeling. What I can do now is, you see, when I go to my sketch item panel, I click in here, and finally I could move the complete pipe sketch where I want. I could also rotate it and bring it to a location or something like that. Okay, I undo this back again, and can do this. What is also maybe interesting in here is, let's say this is a first variant I have created in here, and just by using a copy functionality in here, this is now the complete sketch is now copied over directly, instantly, just by clicking one button. You see, so this is my first sketch I have done, and this is my second sketch. And now this second sketch, for example, could have a different position, or I can reuse my piping that I have already modeled in a different variant, for example. Okay, just by copying over, by using this copy command in here. Okay, so that's the first thing about piping. The next thing I would like to show you is something about catalog items. So for this, again, I copy over my slab, existing slab, so I have a little bit of space, and where I can place my elements. So the catalog in here, as I said, we have a catalog that comes with the software. Okay, if it's not integrated by default, but when you go to our website, crexperts.com downloads, there is a 3D sketching catalog you can download and install, and instantly all the items here, what we see here, are available in your viewer, in your model. Okay. And I just show you some examples in here. We have different sections for architectural, for equipment, hangers and supports, different topics. As I mentioned before, around about 50 different types of elements and variants in here. And when I go, for example, to auto crane, place an auto crane, and this auto crane is rotated by 90 degrees, for example, you see how this is working in general. So because these are symbol designer items, they are intelligent, they are parametric. So we have these functional bubbles or intelligent bubbles, for example, for a crane. This is quite useful. You can change the height of your boom. You can change your hook and bring this quite complex looking element that is just placed out of a catalog to the right position. Okay. And these catalog items, what these are good for finally, so it should occupy the space in your model in a quite intelligent and obvious way. That's the idea behind. Okay, so things that are not easy to model or quite cumbersome to model are provided in a catalog, and everyone can use it out of the box. So, for example, it's the same with scaffolding, for example. So let me place such a scaffolding part. It comes by default as a single part, but when I pull here at these intelligent points, you see how this is working. So there are inbuilt rules where I can change the dimensions, first of all graphically, but due to the fact that these are intelligent symbols, we can exchange, for example, the full height to 8 meters, for example, and bring this here in the right position, or change the depths of the scaffolding to 1 meter. And you see just in a short period of time with these symbols, the space in a model is occupied in an intelligent way, so that everyone knows, okay, what's up here. Okay, so that's the purpose of these symbols, to help to help the project for the communication, or really to show what are the purposes here with additional graphic that is maybe not modeled in your authoring system. The same with letters, for example. It comes as a small item. You pull it up, you bring it in the right position, and you can change the symbol items, for example, the letter height to 6 meters, and you see the cage is starts at a certain position. So it's a parametric symbol. It's quite easy and quite easy to use, and works like any other object here in the 3D design. Okay, so these are the catalog items in here. What I have shown you in the first slides, these are the steel items. And the steel items in here, you maybe know this. Know this perhaps already. So as I said, I'm using here a preview version. So this functionality is not yet available. So this will come with the next version. For first of all, for the user, nothing is changing. So the user, so the existing design that you have done up to now with this functionality still is working. So this is we ensured the backwards compatibility, and right now you have these items available. Okay, but we extended the list right here, and as I showed you before, it's just the Excel file integrated into your model or into your file structure of your UPV model. These are the existing items, and the blue one, these are the new items. I decided to add the American standard in a or yes American standard profile so far, but you can do this once when this is available with any other functionality here. And you can filter your list. It's a W24, and then it changes automatically. And this works. This new functionality works for the columns and the beams. Okay, so this is available now in here. This also works for the platform functionality. I don't know if you are aware of this. It's a kind of macro inbuilt or available here in the UPV sketching module, and it's a platform where you can change, or where you can place simple platforms. You can adjust it in height, in depth, in width. You can add columns and rows, and give the user a good possibility to place these kind of things. They are very often needed sometimes in a project in a very, very simple way. Okay. Okay, so what else is possible? We have here a functionality here to import OBJ format. Okay, so the OBJs are it's a separate format. So with Blender, for example, you can convert DGN, DWG, or any kind of graphics to a OBJ format, and you can import this here. For example, I decided to place a pump, and this pump you can position here in the system, and they are available now. Okay. Okay, so finally, let's say once you are finished with your design, with the 3D sketching, with your different items, you want to save it. Okay, so first of all, we have the possibility to save it as a UPVF file. UPVF file is the internal container format, so that you can send this file to someone else, and your colleague can load this, and this is the internal container format. Okay. But for the sketches, we also can export this as a DGN file or as a UPVC file. UPVC file. So for the next run with the UniversalPlantViewer builder, you can integrate, or you could integrate this graphic as a solid part of your your model. But let's concentrate on a DGN file. So I export this to DGN. So I have now this ported to the copy of DGN. And when we look at this, instantly we have the complete graphic, what we have done now in the last 15 minutes. We have this available as a DGN file, and this can be used in any other authoring system, for example. So we decided to use this very, very simple format that fits to any design system. And so this definitely bridges a gap between a viewer and an authoring system in here.